Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to impart tech news. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Introduction to Rational Quality Manager and its Best Practices. Our guest speakers today are Mr. Chandrahasa Reddy, IBM Rational Product Expert at TCS, and Mr. Bharat Kumar Patel. He is also an IBM Rational Product Expert at TCS. Mr. Chandrahasa is an IBM Rational Product Expert having 4+ years of experience in various rational products like testing tools, RFT, RQM, RPT, requirement and change management tools like RRC, Requisite Pro, DOORS, and RTC. Chandra is involved in consulting engagement for different customers and involved in research of industry best practices. Our co-speaker, Mr. Bharat, is leading Rational COE team in TCS and has 14+ years of experience in the IT industry. He has experience in various rational tools like Rational Requirement Composer, Rational Quality Manager, and Rational Team Concert. Bharat has worked as project manager, a business analyst, project lead, and has been involved in consulting engagement for Rational tool. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speakers. Over to you, Mr. Chandrahas.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Hello everyone. This is Chandra here from TCS. First, I would like to thank everybody for joining this call. So today we are going to discuss about Rational Quality Manager and best practices. And agenda of this session, we have two sections. Section 1 is Introduction to Rational Quality Manager. And section B will be best practices. So I'll be taking the Introduction to Rational Quality Manager, which is section A, and section B will be taken from Bharat, best practices section. As a part of Rational Quality Manager, we know Quality Manager to just introduce it is a test management tool, and as a test management tool, as a part of test management artifacts, we need create test planning, test cases, test scripts, test suites, and we'll be going to discuss linking of these test artifacts for traceability, and how do you execute these test cases. After execution, how do you view the reports and dashboards within the Rational Quality Manager, and integration of Rational Quality Manager with other tools. And finally, we'll be going to discuss RQM command line adapter. And as a part of best practices, Bharat will be going to discuss what are the different best practices can be used for effective test management, like using test artifact categories, using test cases weights, using copy utility and snapshots for achieving versioning of test artifacts, using features called keywords, test data, and execution variables, and few of deployment topology for larger deployments. Basically, deployment for RQM, to what are the different strategies and topology we can follow. So, first slide, which talks about what is the Rational Quality Manager. So, Rational Quality Manager, as I was telling you, is basically a test management tool. So, test management is testing is in one important phase of is TNC phase. And Relational Quality Manager is an IBM product, and it's based on JAS platform and inherits many characteristics of that platform. So many characteristics of JAS platform. What I mean is it's collaborative in nature. Collaborative in the sense, like in older days, what we used to do is, okay, if any task to be assigned to some team member, we need to speak over the phone or send him a mail. So this way we used to collaborate. But IBM has come up with a JAS platform which is more collaborative in nature, and also it's a web-based tool. Collaborative in the sense, I will give some one simple scenario, like if you are geographically apart from each other, how do you basically collaborate? So as a test manager, you want to assign some testing activity to your team member, then we can easily achieve this using Relational Quality Manager without manual work, like sending mails, creating spreadsheet and talking over the phone. So that when task is assigned to somebody and the notification will go to that owner, and owner will take care of executing that task. And as well as a team member, you can also see the progress of execution. Any kind of task it is, you can see the progress of that task for the another member, and see what is the progress on the development of your project, and also view details of other team members as well. So it's basically, this product is designed for testing teams, and it supports a variety of roles such as test manager, test architect, test lead, tester, and lab manager. So these roles is just sample examples. You can customize these roles depending upon your organization requirements. So IQM provides flexibility and to customize these roles and permissions as well. So as a part of test planning process in testing activity, so RQM allows you to define various things in a test planning. You can define your business and test objectives. So as you are aware of that, for every release we will be having some kind of test objectives, like, okay, my product should be not more than 5 small defects. Those defects should not affect your business process. So you will be having certain goals for each particular release. You can define those goals as a part of your test planning, and also you can establish a review process. So you have a test plan in place and you want to get it reviewed by someone, maybe who is a product manager or your client. Then you can send this test plan as a part of reviewal process using RQM. And you can manage project requirements and test cases, and you can establish interdependencies, basically kind of a traceability. Okay, as day progresses, your requirement may get changed. The requirements get changed, your test cases of course obviously must be changed. So in that case, you should have some kind of interdependencies between these two for making any kind of changes. And you can estimate your efforts. What is the effort involved for execution of your test plans, and also you can have a schedule, okay, when it is getting executed, and also what is the effort involved in executing this test plan. And also you can list a set of test environments. Test environments means it can be combination of your both hardware and software environments. You can generate your test configurations to run this test plan. So simple scenario would be, okay, if you are testing your product in a different environments. For example, if you want to test it in both Windows and Linux environments, you can always generate test configurations, and you can execute this test plan in different platforms. And it also allows you to create a snapshots of the test plan. So the details about the snapshot will be discussed in the later part, and it also allows you to define your quality goals, and you have your entry criteria. You can define your exit criteria of the test plan. Okay. Entry, for example, entrance criteria. What would be, you would have an entry criteria for any test plan is before you start your execution, test execution. So you want to make sure that okay, my entry criteria should be, suppose for this release you had planned 30 defects to be resolved for this release. So you should make sure that okay, all the 30 defects should be resolved by any developer. That is your entry criteria. So exit criteria would be, for example, after your testing phase is completed, I have 30 defects resolved, and at least in the testing phase, the results should come out as okay, 28 defects have been resolved. Still there are some issues with the 2 defects. So that can be an exit criteria or exit criteria. So basically, I'm trying to say is entry criteria and exit criteria you can define based on your requirements and how you plan to deliver your product. And create and manage test cases. Of course, as a test plan, what are the different test cases we will be covering for this particular test plan. You can also have the test case as a part of your test plan, and also you can view the execution progress, overall execution progress. Of course, there may be different team members who are executing different test cases in your team. So as a whole, what is the execution progress of test plan also we can view. So in the next slide, this is a sample screenshot of RQM menu where this is a sample screenshot is open for creation of test plan. As you can see here, there are different sections over here. All these sections we have already discussed. This is the execution progress. You can always see what is the execution progress, like what was the total hours and what was the estimated hours spent, and also progress is what are the percentage, what is the total goal and what is the progress so far. You can see these are different sections, and also you can customize these sections. You can have your own sections by using manage sections here. We have snapshots. We have history of these artifacts. History means it can have if somebody has changed this test plan for some time, then it records the history. Okay, who has changed, what has been changed, etc. It will also record. So snapshot, as I said, okay, it will be discussed in the later stage of this presentation. Okay. So now we have seen at very high level what a test plan would contain in RQM, and so as a testing process, the important other two important things are test cases and test scripts. Okay, so test cases you can define in in RQM, like as you are all aware, test cases means okay, is a goal. It tells you to what functionality you need to test in your product. Okay, so and test script. Test script is a set of instructions it gives to execution of for execution of your test cases. For example, if you are a manual tester, you would have your spreadsheet where spreadsheet gives you information about navigation, where you need to navigate on your screen, and which functionality you should test, and it will also have expected result and also actual result, and also you mark whether the test case is passed or failed. So that is kind of an instruction, and we also call as a test script. So that similar kind of instructions we can also define in RQM, and we can attach to test cases. So test cases doesn't mean that okay you can directly run that, but test case always contains a test script. Okay, and test script can be either a manual test script or automation test script. So manual test script means you have a set of instruction, you go to the screen and manually you do it. Automation means you have your automation scripts. For example, you have a functional regression testing tool called IBM RFT, is a rational functional tester. Like if you take another vendor like HPQTP is also there, it's a functional regression tool. You can have a scripts generated in that tool, automation tool, and you can pull all those scripts into RQM, and also you can attach those scripts into test cases, so that whenever you trigger your execution, you execute your automation testing, and target machine should have that particular tool installed on that machine, and your execution happens automatically. Okay. So you can also import test artifacts from external test management solutions, like if you are using some of the legacy tools like ClearQuest, Test Manager, or Rational Test Manager, you can always export those artifacts and import into RQM. We are planning to move to the newer version of test management tool. So this is a sample screenshot for test cases and its design. Similar to a test plan, it has different sections over here. We have summary sections, we have test script section here, where you can attach your script for that test case. So it can be your manual script or automation script. And we have test case design. Test case design tells you, how do you design your test case. Design means, okay, you go to this screen and go here, execute this flow, and set of instructions. Okay, and also you can generate your manual test script using test case design automatically. And the next screenshot shows, this is a screenshot where you create your test scripts. As you can see on the screen, there are a sample login script. The first step would be like login and log out. You can add as many as steps you want, and also you can define your expected results over here. Also you can see there is some section here, test data. So test data means the data which you are, for example, you have some screen, and that screen you want to test your functionality for different set of data. So often it is called as data-driven testing. And this test data can be formed as a CSV file externally, and can be imported into RQM. So this test data can be reused across the different test scripts, so that whenever you want to run this particular step for that test data, I can just select a drop down over here. In the drop down, you would get other test data as well. You can select the required appropriate test data, test it for. So how do you basically, okay, once you associate test data, how do you use that in a script? Okay, so there is one option here, associate test data columns here. This is a step 1, and I want to use ID 1 and password 1 as a variables in my script, and those variables would contain different rows, different set of data. As soon as you click on this, it would provide you a menu where you can select columns, data columns. So I have selected ID and password data columns that would get populated here, so that at runtime, when you run your test case at runtime, so these actual variables would be replaced by actual values, so that on this screen you can have the test data enter, and you can test your functionality. And the linking, as you are aware of that as a tester, so a traceability aspect is very important, of course, for both forward and backward traceability. And RQM provides a traceability for different artifacts, from test plan to test cases, and test cases to requirements, and requirements to development work items. So in JAS platform, this is RQM is one component, and we have other two components. Other two components are, we have requirement composer for requirement management. We have RTC, and which is change and config management. So your requirement component can be anything. Your requirement can be component can be from HP are from IBM. Within IBM, we have so many other things, not only requirement composer, we have doors, we have requisite pro, and we can always integrate those components with technical quality manager. For example, there are in that case we have a requirement links over here, and through OSLC integration, you can integrate other components and attach the requirement to test case, so that traceability is maintained. And also it creates a suspect link as well. When you have a requirement change in doors and other components like requisite pro, and you run your reconcile, reconcile all of your artifacts, then it would create a suspect link so that it tells you, okay, you need to change some associated artifact like the test case and test script. And also I was talking about RTC, rational team concept. Development links can be associated to your test cases and also your test plan. So development links means, okay, you have some requirements, and against those requirements you have created your task to a developer, and those tasks will be stored in RTC. And those tasks, development plans, those things will be linked to traceability for RTM, so that, okay, whenever there is a fail of fail of test case, you can trace it back to requirement, and requirement back to your development item, so that you can reassign same task to the same developer for fixing that particular problem. So this way, end-to-end traceability is maintained within RQM. So execution, reports, and dashboards. Okay, and once you have created your test plans, your test cases are ready, and you created test scripts also, and you attached everything for traceability from requirements to your requirements to your testing phase, and now the test plan is ready for execution. And RQM includes an integrated test execution environment for running tests developed within the product. Developed within the product means your manual test, and also outside the product. Like you can have your scripts outside the RQM, and you can integrate those tools like functional tools, performance tools, security testing tools. Okay, and all those tools enables you to create your scripts, and those scripts can be attached to a test case. And options for testing execution include, you can run your tests in directly using your single individual test cases, or grouping them in a test suite. Okay, test suite means, okay, there is a group of test cases, and that test suite can be run either sequential or parallel execution. So parallel execution means you can choose any test case at any point of time. Sequential means one after the another. So we have two options for executing test suite. And once you execute your all your test plans, Rational Quality Manager also includes a set of predefined reports to help you to get status on your project. Let's see in the coming slides, we have some predefined reports we can discuss. And apart from predefined reports, you want your own customized reports, then you have a plugin with RTM called Rational Reporting for Development Intelligence, and used for customized reports. It suits your particular business needs. Out of the box reports may not be appropriate. It depends on your business needs. So RRDA is the best plugin for your customized reports. And also you can see your live reports, and you can see your execution of your execution progress of your any test plan, or you can just browse the list of your test plans and opening the execution view.
Chandra, just wanted to add one more point over here about this reporting. Just can you go to the previous slide? Yeah. Just one more thing, like we can integrate RQM with rational publishing engine also. So if we want to customize our reports, then here we have a flexibility to customize the report the way we want. I mean, if you want any changes in the format, okay, then it can be easily done by integrating with the RP. But only, I mean, the part is like it is a little bit time consuming. There are a lot of technical expertise required for to integrate with the RP, or basically to uh, define the reporting. Okay. I mean, like, I mean, Chandra will show you in the next slide, like how reporting is done in the RQM. But my point is, like, integrating RP, you can basically customize the report the way you want as per your requirement. Yeah, thanks, Chandra.
Okay. These are some predefined set of reports provided by RQM, out-of-the-box reports. I have shown very few. There are so many other reports also. I have a different category of reports. We have defects category. Under defects category, have defect list. So basically, defect list would have your defect status listing. Defect status means you would have raised your defect while executing your manual test or your automation test. And the defect which is raised in RTC, and developer would be working on that, and you want to know the status of those defects, you can use this report. And defect arrival and resolution is similar to that, the first one. The only thing is, okay, who is the owner and where it is coming from, and who has done the resolution for this. And in the execution category, we have execution status by machine using test case execution record. So here we have test case execution record and test suite execution record. So these two things come into picture when you want to assign your test activity to some of your team members, testing team members. Just assume that as a test manager, we have 1,000 test cases planned for particular release, and 1,000 test cases assigned to your different team members you want to assign. And in that case, using RQM, there is an option to create your test case execution record. Means only one test case can be assigned. Test suite execution record means a group of test cases can be assigned to a tester. And once you, as a test manager, you assign a task, and that task will go to the respective owner as a notification, and from there you can the tester can start his execution. So here, this type of reports here, execution status by machine using TCR. So you would have created multiple TCRs, and using those TCR count, want to know the status by machine wise, because as a part of testing activity, you would assign your automation test to a different machine. Just for a load balancing, you cannot execute all 1,000 test cases in a single machine, and also that will take too much of time. You spread across your, you would have your test labs, and each of these machines will be loaded in a different set of test cases. So these are the different set of reports for execution. And the lab manager, lab manager is also basically, for example, if you go back to the screen, we have your lab management menu over here. Okay, using this lab management, you can add the machine. You would have your testing labs. You can add that machine, particular machine. Also you can place a request for a machine. For example, you in your organization you need some machines for your testing purpose. You can place a request for a lab manager, and also you can schedule the execution using lab manager, and also you can create a request. Advancedly, you can just reserve advance for your testing purpose. This is a small overview of lab manager. And we have some set of reports under lab manager. We have lab resource utilization. What is the utilization, percent of time that lab resources are used in the machine groups. Request response time, okay, and request by state, lab request by current state. State means whether it's approved or still in progress. All those things you can see, and the requirements. And the requirements we have set of reports. Plan your requirements coverage detail. For example, you have some test cases and which are not assigned to any of the requirements. You miss to some of the test cases which are not covering some of the requirements. You can also have that kind of reports so that you can plan your execution for the next release.
Just want to add one more, there are a few more reports about for a test cases, how many test cases are impacted by defects, okay, what are the test script, test script is basically a test steps over here. Which are the test script are associated with the test cases, okay, what is the test cases which is coverage by test case execution record. So there are a number of various reports are available in the test cases also. Just only for the information. Once you go through the RQM, then or once you use the RQM, then you will come to know. But there are many more reports available for the test cases level also. Yes.
Okay. Yes, this is very important feature of RQM, exporting test assets into RQM. We know not everyone nowadays using test management tool. Some teams may be using your spreadsheets, and when your system grows and it becomes very complex for you to maintain all these spreadsheets, and you want to move to some test management tool like RQM. Then how do you migrate the entire data into RQM? So RQM provides a utility called it's a MS Office plugin basically, and this plugin can be installed on top of MS Excel and also MS Word file. This is a sample menu. It gets open. The next slide. There is a RQM menu over here. Once you install your plugin, the RQM menu over here, when you say export to repository, the menu, the pop-up opens where you have to authenticate the server, RQM server, and this is a spreadsheet which is RQM server will be expecting. This is the format we need to enter, and this is a usual format. Is all of the as a testers we follow, like test case name, what is the description, what is the test case preparation, pre-condition, post-condition, what are the pre-conditions for the test case and what is the post-condition for the test case, and the navigation steps associated with a particular test case. So all these usual information, little bit formatting is required against this format. And also for each of these spreadsheet, you have a config file. Configuration file basically a set of instructions which is going to tell to RQM, okay, pick this column as a test case name, pick this column as a description. Page we have this MS Excel utility. Once you install that, go to installation directory. There is a samples folder over there. Inside sample folders, we have different formats. It need not be a same format as in my screen currently. This is one of the formats. We have different other formats. Like you would have your attachments also for your test activities. Those attachments also can be imported to RQM. We have a different set of formats. and also corresponding config files. You can have you can go and have a look at those samples if you want to quickly learn that part. And another important aspect of RQM is offline execution. This is a very important feature, and everybody wants this, because when you are away from office and you don't have access to your server, and you want to just get the files into your local system and execute your tests offline, upload your results when you come to your office, then you have access to the RQM server. Okay, so basically it allows to get the RQMS file. When you go to test case, there is a run button. When you click on that, there is an option called run offline. When you click on a run offline, it would fetch you RQMS file, and this RQMS file can be imported using Excel utility. You can go to RQM menu and import for offline. And when you say import for offline, all the manual test script navigation steps and expected result and the results which you are going to mark here, whether it is pass or fail or inconclusive, block or some error. So all these the values will become as a drop down here. You can go home and execute your tests, upload your results when you come back to office. So using same Excel utility, we'll be uploading these results in RQM server, so that the status of this particular test case or test suite will be get updated in RQM. And what are all other tools?
Chandra, I just wanted to add one more point like here. This is again only for the information that even we can import a test cases from the Microsoft Word also. Currently, we have taken example only of Excel, because now most of the time, like in the projecting, will use Excel sheet for maintaining the test cases. So, but there is also a plugin available for the same plugin we can use if we have a test cases in Microsoft Word, and that can also be imported in the RQM using this plugin only.
And these are the few tools, IBM tools can be integrated with RQM, and RQM has out of the box integration for these tools. As I was telling you, the Requisite Pro is a requirement management tool, can be integrated, and DOS is also requirement management, can be integrated with RQM, and rational change and ClearQuest, other rational testing tools, RFT, RPT, AppScan. AppScan is a security test tool. Robo is also a test automation tool. And Rational Quality Manager can be also integrated with Selenium, which is open source unit testing tool. And we have Rational Quality Manager integration with BuildForce as well. BuildForce is basically a build management tool, but nowadays it is got replaced with RTC. RTC has the capabilities of ClearQuest, capabilities of BuildForce, and capabilities of rational change. So all these three capabilities incorporated in a single product, which is called Rational Team Consult. And OSLC integration. What is this OSLC integration? Is a open services for lifecycle collaboration. Is a set of standards, and these standards are obeyed by different vendors. For example, we have different vendors like HP, IBM, and they are agreed upon set of standards they should follow, so that whenever different products needs to be collaborated or integrated, can easily integrated using OSLC standards. For example, you have a scenario, okay, you want to use your test management tool from IBM, and you want to use your defect management tool from HP. Then you have an option to integrate both of them, together using OSLC integration. Okay. And these specifications allow confirming independent software and product lifecycle tools to integrate their data and workflows in support to end-to-end lifecycle processor. And this is one more important thing. As we saw in the previous slide, these integrations are out of the box. And there is one more adapter called command line adapter. This is a generic adapter, and you can integrate with any other tool. Okay, so it's a simple thing. You need to start the adapter in the target machine, and this adapter is available in the installation directory of RQM. Is a zip file. You can put this zip file in a target machine where your custom tool is there, and start the adapter, and you can create an executable program and execute. It's simply how it works is, okay, you have your tester machine. From the tester machine, you pass your set of commands to your target machine, and target machine is having custom tool. Provided your custom tool should support a command line interface. I'll give a simple example, like if you take IBM RFP tool, you can execute your scripts using playback option provided on the Eclipse window. And also there is another option, you can use a command to invoke or to playback a particular script. So you can pass that particular command from the tester machine to a target machine to tell the target machine, okay, execute this particular script on my target machine. So your job is done. So there is no need of out of the box integration, as long as your in-house tool or your custom tool supports command line interface. So the next part would be taken from Bharat. Some of the keynotes for effective test management that acts as kind of best practices. So now I would like to transfer to Bharat.
Yeah, thanks, Chandra, and thanks to TechGeek team for giving the opportunity us to present this webinar. And thanks, Moini, for giving a brief introduction about for me. So before going to this effective test management, I just would like to add one more feature, which is actually, since interest of time, we have not included many more slides about RQM, but there is one more feature called a project area. Okay, where if say your if your different project team is working and they have a different set of test artifact, okay, and then there is a RQM an option, okay, also different team is working in different project area, okay, then there is an option in RQM where you can define the different project area, and for each project area you can define the test artifact. And for each project area we'll have a test cases, test plan, test steps, test suite. Okay, so you can define n number of project area, and for each project area we can define a number of project properties. Okay, and all the test artifacts. Okay, so this is only for the information. Moving to next to the slide number 18, which is about the best practices. This is something which again this I would say like feature of RQM, but how we can use in our project. Okay, or how we have used in our project. Okay, that's something we are sharing over here. This is one of the very good feature of the RQM. Like you can define the category for each of the test artifact. Okay, category is basically an attribute of the test artifact. When I'm saying the test artifact, it means like test cases, test suits, or test plan, or test scripts, okay, or test suits. Execution record, all are in RQM, it is a test artifact. So how it will be helpful? Okay, it will basically help to group all these test cases, test plan. For example, say if we have a test cases which is part of say UAT. Okay, so you can define that this is a phase is a category. Okay, and that phase have a value called unit acceptance. So whenever you define the test cases, Okay, you can associate the test cases with the UAT test. Okay, as well as you can define like n number of categories for a module, for a product or release. Okay, I'll give you one more example. Like here, there is an option where you can define the multi-valued category also. Okay, for example, say if your test case, which is again I'm taking same example, say if test case is part of system testing phase as well as part of UAT phase. Now you want to see a report like which say, okay, which are the common test cases which is part of my system testing as well as UAT. So you can define that category phase which is a multi-valued. Okay, where you can have two options to select. Currently you guys showing in combo box like which is highlighted with only one option. Okay, but if the category is defined as a multi-value, and you can have an option with a checkbox. Okay, so you can select both the option. Okay, so that way you can define this category. As well as the category also you have to, it will help you to defining a reporting part also. It will help you to filtering your test case artifacts. It will help to group the artifacts. As well as you can define the subcategory also for each of this test artifacts. Basically, you can define the parent-child relationship, and as well as I think just one second. As well as you can have, if you want to filter this categories, then that is also option is available in the RQM. Yeah, next. Yeah, there is one more feature called weight. So weight is basically again is an attribute. Okay, but what we, I mean, again, I'm sharing our project experience. Like weight is basically define the complexity of the test cases. Okay, where you can define this is basically a numeric number only. How it will help? Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, how it will help? So, for example, say if client says that I want to, if we have a 500 test cases, and if you want to, client want to understand like what is the execution time, how much time it will take to execute 500 test cases. So in that case, actually this is a real scenario like it was in our project, and it was asked us that give the execution of this 500 test cases, how much time it will take. So what we have done is like we define the weight attribute in each of the test cases based on the complexity. If it is a simple, okay, then this is my weight. Okay, if it is a complex, then my weight is a 500, or if it is very complex, then my weight is a 1000. Okay, so based on that, actually we define, okay, for this is test cases, weight is 100, then it will take say 2 minutes. If the weight of test cases is 500, okay, then it will take 4 minutes. Or if there's a 1000, and in that case, this much time will take to execute test cases. So based on the category, again, like we have defined, we have defined the grouping of all the test cases. We have calculated the weight, okay, that how many weight for the 100, how many for the 500, and how many for the 1000. And based on that, we actually come up with the estimations that this is how, our total to execute 500 test cases, this much time it will take. So basically, it is not addition of weight, okay, but it is basically defining the how you can define the complexity of the test cases, and based on that, you can define the timings. Okay. One more, like so in the real scenario, actually, what we used to do is like we define the test suite, and for each test suite we have a test cases, and for each test cases we have a test scripts. Okay, so say if you can define that weight at suite level also. So if we have say 2 test cases and 2 test cases which is part of one test suite, okay, and when you run that test suite, in that case, like either we can run both the test cases, or only we can run the one test cases, okay, and for some reason we are not able to run the test cases, then it will give you what is the execution progress, that how much that test suite has run. Okay, so here that will also help you to understand like what is the execution progress of your test cases. So this is also something we can define by using a weight attribute. Okay, as well as will help you into for the report also. If you want to know report that what is your execution progress using the weight. Okay, then in that case, like if you see here on the x-axis, which is say total weightage, and the y is basically categories. Okay, so here like say for a functional, it is showing that there are weight we have 400 that already passed. Okay, and there are another weightage for this 400 which is still it is blocked, or it is, I mean, legenda is given in the bottom. So it will give you a progress of all the test cases using the weight also. Yeah, Chandra, can you move next? Yeah. There is one more feature called snapshot, which is basically it's related to creating a version. Okay, but it's not really a true version management. Okay. If we are say working on any test plan or test cases, and like if you want to create a copy of it and you want to maintain the backup of the old one, in that case we can create a snapshot. But snapshot is basically a non-editable. Okay, we cannot modify anything in the this snapshot copy of the test artifact. But in case you want to refer the old copy of the test artifact, then we can go to the snapshot copy and we can have a look at it. Okay, whenever you create a snapshot, basically you copy all the data of that test cases or test plan to in the new test artifact. You can create a snapshot either in the same project area or in the different project area. In the same project area, if you create, and it will basically it will create a reference of the previous test artifact. Okay, for example, like if we have a test cases and the test cases associated with the test scripts, and if you create a snapshot of test cases, okay, then it won't create a new test scripts. It will refer the test case which is already existing for that particular test case. But if you are creating a snapshot in a different project area, then it will create the other attribute also. Okay, so this is something which we have used, like, I mean, many times it was happen like we want to maintain the old copy, okay, of our test plan or test cases. Okay, then instead of rewriting the or instead of overwriting the same copy, we used to maintain the version by using the snapshot. Okay, and then we create a new one. But only thing is we cannot, after creating a new one, if you want to, I mean, move to the old version, then it cannot be done. So, but this is based on our requirement. Like, it was very helpful. We have created a number of snapshots for our in our project. So we thought that this, but thought to just give the idea that this can be used for the version or for maintaining the version. Going to next about the copy utility. So if you want to create the copy of the test artifacts, okay, then there is a very simple option where you can copy the basically you can create a duplicate of the test cases or test plan. So again, the same project area or in a different project area. So like if test cases is also have a link with the test script, and when you copy the test cases, okay, then it won't create a new test cases, but will create a reference with that test scripts. Okay, so this is also a very powerful features. Like if you want to say copy 100 of test cases, or if you want to copy or duplicate 100 of the test cases, then just select the option in the RQM, like do a browsing of all the test cases, select all the 100 test cases and just click on the there is one option where you can say that you want to create a copy of 100 test, all the selected test cases. So just on a single click, it will create all the copy of 100 test cases. Yeah, this is something like one test scripts for a one test cases. RQM actually allow to add for a one test cases, it will allow you to add number of test scripts. Okay, you can add a number of scripts you want, but when we do for the execution, okay, like when we execute our test suite, and if we have another test suite for test cases, then it will execute only a one test script. It won't execute the multiple test script. Okay, so actually what happened, like in our project, we initially we have defined that, okay, this is n number of test cases we have created, and that we associated one test cases. And when we try to run the test suite, then we figured out, okay, that is not something possible. Only we have to execute only one test script will run one at a time. Okay, but then later on we'll find out that why they have given the option. Okay, so it's for example, if you want to execute the same test script in a different platform, okay, like in Linux or Windows, okay, in that case this scenario will help. Okay, then we can select them manually and then we can run this test scripts. Okay, but it is recommended that use only a one test script for a single test cases. Okay, so it will, but if you have multiple test scripts for a different, or if you have one test script you want to execute in the different platform, in that case you can define, two test scripts and then go ahead with the executions.
Yeah, one more point I like to add here. Like why there are two different scripts exist is your automation script may differ for Linux or Windows for both the platforms. So in that case, you would need to have two different scripts, and those two different scripts should be attached to same test case, because test case is the same, but the your automation or your manual scripts might differ. So in that case, you can have two test scripts attached to one test case, and at runtime you can select the scripts which you want to execute in respective platforms. And it's recommended, okay, it's strongly recommended, okay, you should use only one test script for one test case. Even though RQM provides the flexibility of attaching multiple test cases, and this is one scenario where you can use multiple test scripts.
Yeah, good example, Chandra. Yeah. So moving to next slide. Yeah, about this entry criteria and exit criteria. As Chandra already explained, okay, that how what is the purpose of exit criteria and exit criteria, okay, and why it is run, okay, and how, and like in our daily, documentation, we also used to do mention, okay, this is how many test cases needs to be passed if you want to be entry, and this is a number of the severity defects should be closed before entry or before exit of any test plan. So beauty of his is like, we actually here don't have to see don't have to check manually. Okay. For example, if you define that entry criteria, okay, for a test plan, that like as you're mentioning in the screenshot, that number of open severity 1 defects should be closed, okay, before going to the next stage, okay. And if we in the beginning of only we define that this is many different 10 defects should be closed, okay. Then this actual value, Okay, what it will do actually, RQM, it will connect to RTC. Okay, it will verify whether how many defects are actually closed or not. Okay, if the expected value and actual value it is not matching, then the state will become unsuccessful. Okay, whenever this this both value will be, basically it will verify, okay, that whatever we mention in the exit criteria, is it same or not, okay, by connecting the RTC. So basically, check the, or it will verify the value of expected and the actual value. If it is yes, then the state is successful. Okay, so basically we don't have to manually have to check, okay, whether we are passed for the entry criteria or not, or whether we meet the exit criteria or not. Okay, here after, this will be possible by integrating with RQM with RTC. Okay, this already, if you part of CLM and the both are integrated. But after doing this this integration, you can easily connect. RQM will connect to RTC and it will verify, okay, whether this entry criteria is meeting or not. Okay, so this is one of the very powerful feature, okay, which also we have used in our projects. So this is one of the best practices which I feel that it can be used in other projects also. Yes, Chandra, move to next. I think we have already, yeah. Okay, using keywords, test data, and execution variable. So keyword is basically nothing but the reference point for the execution of step. It is basically say if you have a test steps or test script which you want to reuse in another test steps, okay, then we can use this keyword feature. For example, like if we have a login logout test script which is going to use multiple times, okay, then there is a feature called keyword, okay, where you can drag and drop, okay, we'll show in the next screenshot, and then that can be used multiple times in the test scripts. We don't have to write the same steps again and again. Okay. Test data, which is already covered by Chandra, is basically simply set of records. So basically a CSV file. Okay, in CSV file we can define all the different test data. Okay, and all this test data can be used for that particular test script. So this is basically a data-driven testing, and which is already covered by Chandra. So I'm not going in details. Okay. About execution variable, it's basically like in our programming, like we define like global variable and local variable. So concept is very similar here also. Okay, you can define the execution variable at test case level, or you can define it at script level, or as well as you can define it at suite level. Okay, but whenever you define this execution variable at a test script level, then it will be available only for that particular test script. It cannot be used in another test scripts or in another test artifact. But if you define the execution variable at test suite level, okay, and same execution variable is defined at test case level and at test script level, then you can pass the you can use the same execution. You can pass the execution variable value to the test suite or test case or test script level. Okay. So here, just example like we given that in login script, if login name is stored in a variable, okay, then it can be used in another script to finding out login details. Okay, so this is also one of the good feature of the RQM, and this also used in a number of times. So, again, this based on the project requirement can be used, but consider this execution variable is basically a global and local variable kind of concept. So, moving to next slide. This is just a small example, okay, like how we can use the keyword feature. Okay, so whenever you create a test script, okay, these are the two steps, okay, and if you want to use these two steps in another test steps, okay, multiple times, okay, then just drag and drop on the right hand side, okay, and you can create the name, okay, so whenever basically give the label, okay, so whenever when you create a new test script or when you are creating a new manual steps, okay, then just drag and drop a login step. So automatically the step will be created for you. Okay, you don't have to create once again. So basically, reusing of these, we can use the reusability feature. Like we can reuse basically a test script for another test scripts. Yeah. So moving to next, this is a last slide. Okay, it's basically about the topology. Okay, there are different topology actually which is shared by the IBM. Okay, like evaluation topology, enterprise topology, okay, and department topology. But based on our requirement, based on the project requirement, it can be used. Okay, like for the large deployment, okay, like we have deployed across the globe. So in that case, like we recommended to go for, it's recommended from the IBM to go for this deployment. Okay, very detailed, very detailed and very informative detail given on the jars.net site also. But here is basically, we can have RTC installed in one machine, rational quality manager installed in one machine, rational requirement manager, composer installed on one machine, and basically, and each of them have a WebSphere application server. Okay, each of their own database. Okay, and JPS basically it can be there also can be installing another machine. Okay, so each 4 application server, for a requirement in JPS we can share the database. Okay, but for each of other application, that is ECM and QM, we have different database. Okay, and as well as a data warehouse. Okay, so this is one of the topology, like, and if you are deploying for a large team, okay, or if you are going to define across the globe, okay, and based on number of users, you can decide to go for this topology. As well as there's a very good article given in the jars.net about server sizing. Okay, if you want to do like how to decide like hardware. Basically how to decide like what is the RAM you want to go for it, or how what is the hard disk space is required. Okay, so in that case, like there are, based on the calculation or based on the test artifacts size, we can define that this, and based on the number of user, okay, we can define like how about hardware sizing. So in the time of interest, I was not going in details, but this is the topology which is mostly used for the large deployments. So this is a last slide, okay, and myself and Chandra actually we covered like RQM overview and some of the best practice which we found and which we have used in our project. So that is something we have shared. So that's it from my end. Okay, and now if you have any questions, okay, then we can take all these questions.
Well, thanks for the insightful presentation. Let's quickly take up the questions now. Please read out the question and the answer so that our users may listen to your commendable insights.
There is one question actually, how we can integrate RQM with Selenium. Selenium, in IBM jars.net there is an adapter available, Selenium adapter. You can download the adapter and follow the instructions to deploy both server and client-side components for Selenium, and your adapter will be installed. Yes, it can be integrated. RQM can be integrated with Rational Robo as well. Yeah, if you have a table, your test artifact details in the table format, you can convert it in a MS Excel or MS Word format, which is RQM, expecting. You can use a corresponding config file. You can always attach your artifacts written in the table format. You can do that. No, RQM is not an open source. It's a licensed product from IBM. Yes, yes. You have installed your Rational Robo in one machine and RQM in another machine, and you can handle that Rational Robo through remote as well. Basically, your robo can sit anywhere, and from RQM you can run the scripts, so that RQM will taking care of execution of your test remotely, where your robo is installed. So basically, see, RQM is not a test automation tool, but it is a test management tool. You have your MSC C++ developed application, and you would have your tool to automate your C++ developed application. Maybe your functional regression testing or your unit testing, and those scripts can be integrated with RQM, so that you can start your execution from RQM using your automation tool. While creating a test case in RQM, when we add categories in summary, it is being visible to all people in the UAT end-to-end testers. Can we avoid those? No, categories will be seen by every team member of the RQM. So we cannot make a restriction on that. Currently, it does not provided by RQM. So cost really don't know about RQM tool. Cost need to really get in touch with IBM folks for this.
Well, those were the only questions we had for the day, Mr. Chandrahasa. I'm really thankful to both of you for conducting this webinar. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of this session would be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Morgan. Thanks a lot for everyone for joining this session. Thanks. Bye.